Yesterday, a big surprise arrived from Paradox Interactive Tinto because they just released a brand new dev diary series about EU5, namely one in which they're going to be going through all the maps from the game itself, and today we're going to be covering the first of these. We've got all the layers. We're talking about political map, state map, climate map, EU4 virgin density map, all of them, and the very first is on the lowlands and adjacent provinces. I'm really hyped to show you guys this, plus a few other things that have been released in the couple of days prior, well actually yesterday released by Johan himself, because this also signals something very important. I kind of think that EU5's release, or at the very least announcement, is a lot faster than I initially thought it would be, because they've got a bigger team working on EU5 since the release of the last DLC, you know what I mean? Almost as if to say that the last DLC for EU4 is the very last one. Now before we do get into this, you'd be doing me a massive favor if you did subscribe, guys. I'm so close to 200,000, I can literally smell it, and no, it's not just the smell of failure from all those failed Byzantine tries, okay? It's not just that. Yeah, that's still on me, unfortunately, but it's fine, because the Byzantine video is coming out soon as well. Maybe right after we get 200,000 subs. Let's see. Alright, so this was released on the 10th of May, a couple of days ago, I guess, from the moment that I'm going to release this video. We got here Mr. Pavia, who says, "You may know me from the latest EU4 DLCs as I was developing that. I might not be very well known to everyone as Johan. I am Pavia, the content design lead for Paradox Tinto, which I joined in 2021. Before becoming a video game developer, my background was as a historian, which led me to work on PhDs in medieval history." So he wants us to challenge his knowledge of medieval history. How about we ask Pavia some questions in the comments section, see if he answers them. I'm curious, because I know Pavia watches my videos. He finished his history degree in 2020. He's got several thousand hours playing grand strategy games from Paradox, and he's played EUROPA Universalis 20 years ago in 2004 for the first time, so he's clearly a very old person. In fact, if my math is mathing, he's about 108 years old right now. The point of this series with Tinto maps, it's not Tinto Talks, alright, is to share maps of new different regions every week, so you have an outlook on them and you're able to give back feedback. That's why I'm making this video right now, because I want you guys to give as much feedback both on the video and on the forums based on this map that we have released for the Netherlands, or for the lowlands better yet, since it is really important that the development team actually gets an accurate response on what the community thinks about the map, the design of the map, everything related to it, and more importantly, don't forget to mention how you've basically framed the map and you have a painting of it in your office, don't you? Is it just me? Is it just me, really? Pavia mentions they've worked really hard to gather the best sources of information available to craft the best possible maps using GIS tools with several layers of historical map sources from academic works, geographical data, admin data to ensure the desired quality. So we would appreciate getting specific suggestions backed by these types of sources, as others, let's say Wikipedia map or YouTube videos with no reference, may not be reliable enough. I actually want to double down on this, so he makes a really good point here. I feel like EU4 doesn't have the most historically accurate maps overall, and I want EU5 to have the most historically accurate map. I'm glad to see Pavia's working on that, because I trust him to do a good job with it, and I will be providing, whenever I see something that doesn't add up in the areas that I'm more knowledgeable about, information if need be. I want you guys to do the same, but very important, both me and you, we will have to quote sources, and I'm talking books or anything of the sorts, not Wikipedia articles or YouTube videos, because let's face it, 90% of YouTube videos are not accurate. That's why you have 1,000 China collapse videos, and China hasn't collapsed yet, although all of them were timed within a few days of the video release. So yeah, my point is, do come up with sources. If you do think something's not historically accurate, back it up with the book, with the reference, with the quote, with the map itself from history, something that, you know, they can go through, and then they can see, oh hey, yeah, maybe we did make a mistake here, and maybe we should change that. Because if it's just, oh, trust me bro, then that's not gonna cut it, okay? Second thing to comment on is that sometimes a certain decision we made was an interpretation over an unclear source, while sometimes we have just plainly made some errors. Yes, especially the Moldova maps in EU4, okay? I got sources, I got maps, I got everything to back me up, but I know it's too late for EU4. That's why I want EU5 to be, you know, to be good. When crafting the map, which on a 30,000 location map is a normal thing, I guess, I'll let you know when any of these happen, and I'm going to ask for your understanding when an error or bug is found and confirm this. I really like that. I really like the fact that they're open to the feedback. They're open to acknowledging that they can make mistakes. Everybody's human, right? So if they do make mistakes, it is our job, the community that love the game even before it has been released, to make sure that they release historically accurate depiction of the 1337 map. I'm sure there's a lot of people that know history way better than I do, maybe even better than Pavia does, watching this video. So if you are amongst them and you have gripes, do make sure you make yourself heard, again, both on this video and on the comment section and the forum as well. So here's the map itself, guys. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. Can we just take a good 1 minute to appreciate this map? It's fine. You can pause the video, take a good look at it, and then continue afterwards. I'm okay with that. Don't worry. I'll also leave the thread, the forum thread, in the comment section below if I don't forget, to be honest. And you guys can check it out there in detail. You can save it up on your computer, whatever you want to do. So this is, of course, the political map, one of many to come, because if we scroll down, this is the location map, which we can also see the state outline, and then we have this province map. Sorry, there's no state. They're called provinces now. I have to get used to that. Then we also have the terrain map, and we've got quite a few of them actually, terrain maps, culture map, and so on. We're gonna go through all of this. First, let's go back to the first one, because I want to know. So let me see my personal knowledge of the Low Countries in 1330s. I generally don't know too much. Main thing I know is that William of Auvergne was one of the biggest guys at the time. He was the Count of Hainaut and a few other areas around here, probably Holland, Zealand. He was known as William the Good, and he had one of his daughters marry the HRE Emperor, another one of his daughters marry the King of England, Edward III, and his wife was the sister of Philip VI, the actual King of France. So he was really well connected. However, I do know that he died in 1337. So now we do realize that the game starts in April, if I remember from, they mentioned a while back, 1st of April, if I'm not mistaken, 1337. So he probably died after April, which means that since he is alive at the start of the campaign, if there's no actual events that kill him off altogether, it's likely that you're going to be able to play as William the Good, one of the greatest figures of his time, and maybe even establish a massive Dutch or Polonian, better yet, empire around the area with the cunning use of your alliances that you maybe will be able to get with other bigger nations. Who's to say, right? I also know that William fought against Flanders, which I believe wanted to take Zealand or something of the sort. I don't remember. It's a long time ago. But whatever the case, he is going to be one of the central figures. That's why he's also mentioned here. I thought his wife was Joanna of Valois. Hi, post-production Ludi here. I'm going through the video, editing it, and I realized something. The William that Paradox is talking about is William II, but William II would not be in charge of the country in April 1337, because William I died in June. So I'm a bit confused. Are they putting William II in charge of the country from the beginning of the game, or is the game not starting in April? This is actually opening a big can of worms for me. Is the start date not April? Did I get that wrong? And if it is April, why are they putting their son? He's not dead yet. What's going on here, man? The Duke of Luxembourg might be the strongest power, as he is also the King of Bohemia. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The Duke of Luxembourg during this period was also the King of Bohemia. He is also a national icon back in Luxembourg, and yeah, he was an absolute chat actually in history. He had some pretty big exploits in his lifetime. He crusaded in Lithuania. He fought against the English on the side of the French, and even died at the Battle of Crécy, which is the battle that we have in the previous dev diary, the image for. That is Crécy. That was not Avignon, because I saw a few of you guys confusing it, and it's not. If it was Avignon, it would be a little bit more muddy, let's say, to say the least. Yeah, a lot more muddy, really. Anyway, so we mentioned here that the County of Flanders is the wealthiest in the region, controlling important cities such as Bruges and Ghent. In the north, there's interesting countries such as the Bishopric of Utrecht, the Republic of Frisia, which is for the time being called Frisian Freedom. Yeah, that is really interesting, because the Frisians were a little bit more different than the Dutch war and the Germanic areas war. It took a little bit of time to properly integrate them both in the HRE and within the lowlands, to be fair. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna handle that. Now we see the locations. Now guys, the locations essentially means provinces in EU4 terms. So you have multiple locations that make up a province. So provinces in EU5 is technically like states. So you got locations, which would be provinces EU4, and provinces in EU5 are states in EU4. Might seem complicated, but it's not, okay? Take note, different provinces have different amounts of locations. So if we take a good look over here, for example, the province of, what is this? Let me check. The province of North Holland has 3 locations. That's it, right? Or 4? Let me check. It has, oh no, it includes the Utrecht one. So it has 4 locations. As Utrecht, Amsterdam, Alkmaar, and Hoorn, whilst the province of South Holland, or Zuid-Holland apparently, has, it has a lot more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holy shit, that is a big difference. 4 and 6, that is actually a big difference. I think we also saw in one of the previous dev diaries that some locations can have up to 8 locations. Don't confuse the outline of the borders of the country, which is with the darker coloring, with the actual province borders, because sometimes they don't match. So for example here, the province of Guise actually has 4 provinces within Guise itself on the French side, and it also has Cambrai, which is on its own, a separate entity. So because of that, it's got 5 locations within the province of Guise, but it is within 2 separate entities. This is a very recurrent theme, especially if you look at the Germanic areas. Oh my god, so many small Germanic nations around, and for example, how many of these are within one single province, right? Let's check. Take for example the province of Agragdegau. That's exactly how you pronounce that, in case you're wondering. Now, Agragdegau has Meppen, Lingen, Tecklenburg, Steinfurt, and what else does it have? It has Steinfurt, and I think that's it, right? That's it. So it has 4 locations. However, it's in 3 separate nations, right? Because you got in the north, that's Munster, apparently. Then we got Tecklenburg itself as a separate entity, and Ste. I don't know what that stands for, to be honest with you, but something with Ste. It's going to be an actual cluster schnitzel, isn't it? When you play in the German areas, it's going to be an actual cluster schnitzel. When you look at it, Luxembourg and Trier are big boys compared to everybody else. Like, holy snap. And I'm talking about Luxembourg and Trier, and I'm saying that they're big boys. Let that sink in for a while. Also, you kind of realize that modern Luxembourg is really just the province of East Luxembourg, isn't it? Kind of lost the West Luxembourg bits to Belgium, didn't it? Now, we also have the terrain, climate, topography, and vegetation. So these are really different, guys. Play close attention. So climate, we have oceanic and we have continental here. Surprised to see how continental is basically still surrounded by oceanic around these areas for some reason. Then we got the topography, and then we've got the marshes. As we all are very well aware, the Dutch are known as the swamp Germans because of the marshes that basically were all around the lowlands a while back. Nowadays, it has been replaced by, you know, farmlands and all that schnapps because they built those juicy dams that prevented the whole area from being marshes, I guess, right? And you also got the flatlands and you got the hills. I like to see how, unlike EU4, whenever you have an area, like there's a bigger area within the same terrain, and then it's not like EU4, you have one province, hills, one province, grasslands, one province, farmlands, one next to the other, right? Here, you've got multiple provinces within that particular type of terrain. That is really nice, and it gives a little bit of perspective in when it comes to strategic thought, because your armies are going to have a harder time when going through certain provinces, right? And then you know how to plan for those different types of terrain based on the overall map. You know, you're going to be going into central Germany, which is going to have maybe more hills, more forests, or you're going to go into Transylvania, which is going to have more mountains and so on. And it's not just going to be like one province as it is in EU4 or one location like that. It's going to be multiple of the same type of terrain. Then we have the vegetation. This is new. So in EU4, we got vegetation and terrain pretty much mixed together. In EU5, it's separate. And obviously, each of these are going to make a big difference. So we have grasslands, farmlands, mostly on top of flatlands, and then we got forests and woods mostly on top of hills. So fighting in these lands is going to be considerably harder. I'm curious to see what kind of bonuses or attrition or whatever is going to impact the units when going through these type of woody, hilly areas. Pavia also mentions they're aware that the Netherlands looked different in the 14th century as several land reclamations took place during the late medieval and early modern period, but we're using a 20th century version of the map for the sake of consistency. I think that's actually a really good idea, because obviously you cannot change the map as you progress, right? So you might as well use a map that would be usable up until the end of the game in the 1800s, right? Most of the regions throughout the world will look quite different from nowadays, and documenting those changes, especially the coastal shapes, would not be a trivial problem to resolve. As a side note, we already removed Levoland from it, and we've already identified some of the other modern ones that slip through, and we'll eventually remove them as well. Not sure where Flevoland is. My chat told me it's an island somewhere, so I trust them. And now let's get to the juicy bit, boys, because it's time for the cultural map mode. Everybody's favorite map mode. That's right, I'm one of those guys that sits on this and just stares at it for hours after I culturally convert an entire region. Yep, that's me. Pavia also mentions the German and French cultures are work in progress, so we'll show a proper version in later Tinto map. This is not finalized, keep that in mind. Now we do have the Dutch and the Frisians in the northern bits here. We have the Flemish in the center and the Wallonians in the south. Kind of surprised by Picard, and I don't know what this is. Reneraus, I have no idea. I'm not even gonna bother to try and pronounce this. Ripurian as well we have in the southern bits here. Rhenish, Classics, Low Saxon, Hessian I can see the beginning of over here. So the German bits are pretty much similar to how EU4 has it at the start date. However, the fact that French is more than just a couple of big groups is awesome. I like to see that represented. I like to see the French be a little bit more diverse and, you know, not have such a easy time with, you know, having every province being the same culture as they do in 1444, which makes it a lot easier. I'm not saying this because I'm a big fan of German. No. I just want them to equally suffering for everybody, okay? Let them culture convert all their country to one culture too, not just us. We also have a religious map mode. I'm not sure what religion this could be, guys. What do you think? Could this be some type of pagan religion? Could it be orthodoxy? I have no clue what kind of religion would be this specific color or so widely spread everywhere. And I mean, there's nothing else except this religion here. The best map, though, in my opinion, is the raw goods map. Holy shit, we have so many new goods that we can actually see for the first time. We got fruit, we got clay, we got wheat, we got sturdy grains, wool, pearls. Imagine we got pearls as well. And remember that every single good is gonna have its own purpose and use in EU5. It's not just gonna be for show. You're actually gonna be needing it for certain things to run your country smoothly. You also got livestock, horses, because remember you need horses to hire to recruit cavalry units, stone, iron, alum, I have no idea what alum is, copper, wild game, livestock, obviously, wine, gems, lumber is also around in quite a few places. Holy shit, man, this is gonna be beautiful, bro. Medicaments, okay, I'm guessing that means medicine. Salt as well for all of the Dutch players, because there's a lot of salt here, I'm just saying. Sand, okay, interesting that we got sand too. Fish as well. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if I missed anything important. Oh yeah, we got some fur as well. Fun fact about this, Luxembourg, which is where this fur is located, was known during the Middle Ages for its wide range of fur collections. They used to trim fur off of really big EU4 virgin bushes, if you know what I mean. No, you don't? Yeah, that's right. Maybe we need to send you to the Luxembourg fur market, because you seem like a positive candidate to me, boyo. Goods get regularly swapped around here, and there have been a balance between geographical and historical accuracy and gameplay purposes. So this is a far from final current version of them. That is good to see, because I'm assuming lumber is going to be an issue if there's so little lumber around, right? Considering the importance of it. Also, remember that previous week they said that Antwerpen is not a market because it's too weak. Well, they changed it again. So previously the Antwerpen market that we have here was a part of the London market. Now again, it's a part of its own market. So that leads me to believe that they buffed slightly, or I don't know, they buffed to a certain extent the provinces within the Antwerpen market so that they can stand alone and not be crushed by the weight of the neighboring markets. Essentially, we reinstate a Low Countries market centered on around Antwerpen after some balance tweaks that made it more viable. Glad to hear that. I think it's great to separate this from London, because I'm kind of tired of just, you know, London getting all the hype when most of the trade goods and the importance should really be in the lowlands. Okay, Pavia also is answering a lot of comments, so we're gonna go through his comments too. He says that he plans to do the whole globe eventually, and next week we're actually gonna be seeing Iberia in all of its glory. Don't get too excited. Iberia literally has like 4 countries and that's it. So when it comes to the culture in EU5, he says they had 3 options. Either go with Dutch based on language, because remember, language plays a major role in EU5, or portray the 4 regional variants or dialects of Middle Dutch, Flemish, Brabant, Hollandic, Limburgic, plus Dutch Low Saxon, opting for an intermediate level grouping Flemish, Brabantic, Limburgic under Flemish, and Hollandic, Dutch Low Saxon under Dutch. And this is the one they decided to go for at the moment. They also have a little bit more discussion here about this. So what is your input on this, guys? Because I'm also curious what would be the best option. I genuinely think that, but this is just me, by the way, and this has no historical relevance. It's just for balance purposes, in my opinion, that the third option they went with is probably the best one, because you don't want to split it to 2 small culture groups, because then it can be a little bit unbalanced balance from a gameplay perspective, right? Having like 1,000 little culture groups within just 2-3 locations or 2 provinces or something, right? Also wants to mention that forest is denser vegetation than woods. I'm not sure how that's going to affect the game itself. I'm assuming there's going to be harsher penalties when you fight in forest rather than when you fight in woods. A lot of the stuff I noticed that he just quotes Johan. I'm not sure how much he's allowed to give away, which is understandable since Johan is the main developer for this, so he's probably able to give as much as he wants away, whilst other people might get in trouble if they give away something they're not supposed to, so I fully understand that. Johan is also replying to people in the comment section as well, not just Pavia, so it's a good idea to keep track of both of their comments here. He also mentions that the center of the Antwerpen market is right now Antwerpen, but it might change to Bruges. A little bit of a Saturday building sneak peek from Johan. The Royal Court, which offers 10% crown power, efficiency of our cabinet plus 2%, and it requires a buttload of schnapps. Plus, to construct it again, it requires a buttload of schnapps once more. So I don't know 100% what the efficiency of our cabinet is. I'm assuming it's either something like the sorts of admin efficiency in EU4 or something really, really good, because this seems like a very expensive and really high maintenance building to have. I'm not sure it would be worth it unless these two particular modifiers are massive when you think about it, which I'm assuming that they are. So big thanks to Pavia and Johan for all the knowledge that we've attained from today's dev diaries and sneak peeks. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave your comments and go to the forums. And until the next time, take care of yourselves. I love you all.